A pleasant good afternoon to one and all. This is Maria Pushpam, and for today's class, we are going to see nuclear stability. And coming to nuclear stability, we have three different terms used here. One is N by P ratio, next one is mass defect, and third one is binding energy. And for today's class, we can see the first two terms, that is N by P ratio as well as mass defect. So I'll start with nuclear stability. So what I mean by nuclear stability is the relative stability of a nuclei of various elements can be explained in three different terms. One is said to be N by P ratio, second one is mass defect, and third one is binding energy. I'll repeat. So coming to nuclear stability of a nucleus is based on three different terms: N by P ratio, mass defect as well as binding energy. So coming to N by P ratio, the nucleus of an atom composed of neutrons as well as protons. And neutron-proton ratio, we call it as N by P ratio, which is greatly influences the nuclear stability. The plot of number of neutrons versus number of protons for the nuclei of various elements shows the most of the stable nuclei lie in a well defined zone called as belt of stability. I'll repeat. So if you take an N by P ratio, it is nothing but nucleus consists of protons as well as nucleus of an atom consists of two things. One is proton, another one is neutron, and neutron proton ratio greatly influences the nuclear stability. So what we are doing here is the plot of number of neutrons versus number of protons for various nuclei are shown in a graph, and the most stable nuclei lies in an area called as, or shown called as, belt of stability. So you see the graph very carefully. If you see the graph, the x-axis is nothing but number of protons and y-axis said to be number of neutrons, and the number of protons and number of neutrons of various nuclei are plotted in this graph. And if you see the graph, we have a area which is said to be a stable area where the value is found to be N by P value is said to be 1, and this particular area we call it as belt of stability. So those nuclei are said to be highly stable and they won't undergo any sort of disintegration, they won't emit any sort of radiation, and if the value is found to be greater than 1, it is found to be less than 1. If you see the remaining area is said to be, the plot is said to be less than 1, and somewhere it's said to be greater than 1. So the nuclei which are found in those areas are said to be unstable and they emit radiation to get the stable nuclei. Is it clear with the point? So I'll repeat the point once again. So if it is, we are speaking about nuclear stability. So coming to nuclear stability, number of neutrons versus number of protons, that is N by P ratio, plays a very vital role here. So the area where this N by P ratio is said to be 1, it's said to be the stability belt. That zone is called as stability zone, and we call the belt as belt of stability, and the nuclei which is lying in that particular area is said to be highly stable and they won't emit any sort of radioactive rays. And the remaining one, that is nothing but N by P value is found to be less than 1. If it is greater than 1, it comes into the stability zone. That is nothing but it tries to comes to the belt of stability. So for that purpose, what it does is it emits a remaining thing in the form of radiation, that is it undergoes disintegration so that it comes into the stability zone. We can see the features of the graph. The first one is light nuclei with mass number below 20 are stable, that is the N by P value will be equal to 1. That is nothing but number of proton will be equal to number of neutron. So I'll repeat. So light nuclei with mass number less than 20 are said to be highly stable because the value of N by P value is said to be 1, or the number of protons is equal to number of neutrons. Okay. The second one is a heavy nuclei with mass number greater than 100. If the mass number is found to be greater than 100, the number of proton by neutron ratio value will vary up to 1.6. And the third one is the intermediate nuclei with mass number between 20 to 100. They have n by p value equal to 1.2 to 1.3. Is it clear? So three things are there. One is having n by p value. Light nuclei that is having mass number less than 20 is said to have n by p value is equal to 1, and they are said to be highly stable. And heavy nuclei which are having mass number greater than 100, the n by p value goes up to 1.6. And intermediate nuclei with mass number between 20 and 100, they have an n by p value in between 1.2 to 1.3. Is it clear? So next one, nuclei whose n by p value lies above or below the stability belt are said to be highly unstable. புரியுதாப்பா? யாருக்கெல்லாம் அந்த n by p value வந்து 1 தவிர்த்து வேறு வேல்யூ வருதா, அது எல்லா நியூக்ளியுமே என்ன ஆகும்னா they are said to be highly unstable and they undergo spontaneous disintegration, and such nuclei are said to be radioactive. And the process of radioactive disintegration continues till the nucleus with stable n by p value is reached. What you can understand from this is, the if the value is found to be less than 1, it's found to be greater than 1, the remaining thing they'll be giving out in the form of radiation. They undergo disintegration so that they get the n by p value is equal to 1. They try to come into this stability belt. Until then it will be emitting radiation. Is it okay? So coming to heavy nuclei, is it clear the point? Any doubt anywhere else? Okay. So what happens here is, the process of radioactive disintegration continues till the nucleus with a stable n by p value is reached. So for heavy nuclei, n value is found to be greater than p value. So the n by p value is found to be greater than unity. The excess neutron dilute the proton-proton repulsion and the nuclear stability is attained. And the neutrons therefore play a prominent role in nuclear stability. புரிஞ்சிருக்கும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். I'll repeat. So heavy nuclei பார்த்தீங்கன்னா n by p ratio வந்து greater than 1 இருக்கும். ஸோ அப்போ என்ன நடக்கும்னா, நியூட்ரான்ஸ் என்ன பண்ணுன்னா, they dilute the proton-proton repulsion and nuclear stability will be attained. அது என்ன பண்ணுன்னா, proton-proton repulsion வந்து என்ன பண்ணுன்னா, it dilutes the thing. ஸோ அப்படி dilute பண்ணும்போது ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்காக nuclear stability will be attained. Thus இந்த நியூட்ரான் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா they play a very important role in nuclear stability. Is it clear with the point? So I'll repeat the whole thing once again. So coming to n by p ratio, you mark a point very clearly. If n by p ratio is found to be equal to 1, those nuclei are said to be highly stable. They won't undergo any sort of radioactive disintegration. They won't emit radioactive rays. So those nuclei whose value is found to be less than 1, or it's found to be greater than 1, especially greater than 1, what they does is they emit the remaining thing in the form of radioactive rays. For example, heavy nuclei which have above or below the stability belt, they are said to be highly unstable. அவங்க என்ன பண்ணுவாங்க, the remaining value அந்த stability belt அந்த n by p ratio 1 வரது வரையிலும் அதுங்க என்ன பண்ணுவோம்னா, they'll be emitting radiation. Is it clear with the point? And this process will continue until the stable n by p value is reached. What I mean by that is, n by p value 1 ஆகிறதுல அந்த ப்ராசஸை வந்து கண்டினியூ பண்ணும். இதில் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா நம்பர் ஆஃப் நியூட்ரான்ஸ் வந்து தான் ஜாஸ்தியாக இருக்கும். ஸோ நம்பர் ஆஃப் நியூட்ரான்ஸ் வந்து ப்ரோட்டானை விட ஜாஸ்தியாக இருக்கும்போது automatically the value will be greater than 1. ஸோ அவங்க disintegrate பண்ணி இங்கே பார்த்தீங்கன்னா நியூட்ரான் plays a very important role. அது என்ன பண்ணுவோன்னா, அந்த it dilutes a proton repulsion. அதனால அது நியூக்ளியர் ஸ்டெபிலிட்டியில் வந்து ரொம்ப வைட்டலான ரோல் வந்து ப்ளே பண்ணுது. Is it okay? And second point we are going to see is nothing but magic number. So nuclei with 2, 8, 20, 50, 82, 126 இவ்வளோ வேல்யூ ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கோங்க. மேஜிக் நம்பர்ஸ் இதெல்லாம். nuclei with 2, 8, 20, 50, 82, 126 புரோட்டானாக இருக்கலாம் அல்லது நியூட்ரானாக இருக்கலாம், இல்லை ரெண்டும் சேர்த்து இந்த நம்பர் இருக்கலாம். are said to be more stable and they're said to be highly stable. In other words, இது எப்படி இருக்கலாம்னா அதோட ப்ரோட்டான் நம்பராக இருக்கலாம் அல்லது நம்பர் ஆஃப் நியூட்ரானாக இருக்கலாம் அல்லது போத் அல்லது இட் மே ஹேவ் இட்ஸ் மாஸ் நம்பர் திஸ் நம்பர். ஸோ திஸ் nuclei is said to be highly stable and they are said to be, this number is said to be magic number. Is it okay? So oxygen example is given. Oxygen 17, that is number of proton is equal to 8. Tin, number of proton is equal to 50. Lead, number of proton is equal to 82. Bismuth, number of neutron is equal to 126. Then helium, proton 2, neutron 2. Oxygen, proton 8, neutron 8. And calcium, proton 20, neutron 20. It's clear? So a nucleus containing proton and neutron equal to magic number is more stable, that gives rise to large number of stable isotopes. Clear with the point? I'll repeat. So what do you mean by magic number na enna nama konja numbers kuduthirukanga. Nuclei with 2, 8, 20, 50, 82, 126. இது ப்ரோட்டானாக இருக்கலாம், நியூட்ரானாக இருக்கலாம் அல்லது மாஸ் நம்பராக இருக்கலாம். இதில் எந்த நம்பர் வந்தாலும் இந்த நியூக்ளியை is said to be highly stable and this number we call it as magic number. Is it clear with the point? So next thing what you are going to see is mass defect. An atom consists of, ஒரு atom பார்த்தீங்கன்னா proton, neutron as well as electron will be there. The mass of the atom should be equal to the sum of the masses of its constituent particles. However, the actual mass of the atom is found to be less than the expected mass. புரியுதா? I'll repeat. ஸோ ஆட்டம் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா அதில் ப்ரோட்டான் இருக்கும், நியூட்ரான் இருக்கும், எலக்ட்ரான் இருக்கும். ஸோ மாஸ் ஆஃப் த ஆட்டம் வந்து இந்த எல்லாத்தையும் நம்ம சம் பண்ணும்போது கிடைக்கக்கூடிய வேல்யூ தான் என்னென்னு சொல்லணும்னா atomic mass சொல்லுவோம். Is it clear? So actual mass of an atom is found to be less than the expected mass. நமக்கு தேவை வர வேண்டிய மாஸை விட ஒரிஜினல் மாஸ் வந்து குறைவாக தான் இருக்கும். ஏன் குறைவாக இருக்குன்னா the difference in mass between the expected mass and the actual mass of an atom is called as mass defect. I'll repeat. புரியுதா? ஸோ உனக்கு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஒரு ஆட்டம் எடுத்திங்கன்னா அதோட ப்ரோட்டான், நியூட்ரான், எலக்ட்ரான் எல்லாத்தையும் நம்ம கம்பைன் பண்ணி கிடைக்கிறது அதோட expected mass. But actual mass பார்த்தீங்கன்னா value is found to be less than the expected mass. And the difference between the expected mass and the actual mass we call it as mass defect. It's clear? So if mass of nucleus is X is mx and it contains Z protons, each of mass mp and n neutrons, each of mass mn. So what will be your answer is Zmp plus Zmn will be greater than mx. That is Zmp plus mnn minus mx will be equal to delta m. Will be equal to delta m. It's clear? So electrons are negligible and the mass are usually neglected in mass calculation. Is it clear with the point? So number of protons plus number of neutrons is found to be greater than the mass, actual mass. Is it clear? So the expected mass is this, but actual mass is found to be less than that. So what you have to do here is Zmp plus nmn minus mx is equal to delta m, and delta m is nothing but the mass defect. So mass defect is difference between the expected mass and the actual mass. An example is given. Helium, the atom contains 2 protons, 2 neutrons. Its mass should be equal to 4.03298 atomic mass unit. But actually the mass is found to be 4.0039 atomic mass unit. So what is mass defect? It is difference between these two, and the atomic mass unit is 0.02908. Is it clear? The mass defect is due to the conversion of certain portion of the matter into energy, and this energy we call it as binding energy, which holds the nucleons together in the nucleus, and mass defect is a measure of binding energy. It's clear with the point? Mass defect is a measure of binding energy. It's clear with the point? I'll repeat this. So புரிஞ்சிருக்கும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். anyhow I'll repeat மா. ஸோ நீங்கள் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா மாஸ் டிஃபெக்ட்னா என்னென்னா நார்மலாக ஒரு ஆட்டம் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா அதோட நம்பர் ஆஃப் ப்ரோட்டான் நியூட்ரான் எலக்ட்ரான் ரொம்ப நெக்லிஜிபிள்ங்கிறதுனால நம்ம அதை விட்டுடுவோம். நம்பர் ஆஃப் ப்ரோட்டான்ஸ் நம்பர் ஆஃப் நியூட்ரான்ஸை ப்ளஸ் பண்ணால் actual will be the expected mass. பட் ஆக்சுவல் மாஸ் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா அதை விட குறைவாக இருக்கும். ஸோ எக்ஸ்பெக்டட் மாஸ் வில் பி கிரேட்டர் தென் தி ஆக்சுவல் மாஸ். ஸோ இவங்க ரெண்டு பேருக்குள்ள டிஃப்ரென்ஸை நம்ம என்னன்னு சொல்கிறோன்னா மாஸ் டிஃபெக்ட்னு சொல்கிறோம். Is it okay with the point? So example is cleanly given. ஹீலியம்க்கு பார்க்குறோம். இஸ் இட் ஓகே? ஹீலியம் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா மாஸ் டிஃபெக்ட் வேல்யூ தட் இஸ் ஆக்சுவல் மாஸ்க்கு எக்ஸ்பெக்டட் மாஸ்க்குள்ள டிஃப்ரென்ஸ் எவ்வளோன்னா 0.0290 atomic mass unit. So இந்த mass defect எதுக்கு வருதுன்னா it's because of the conversion of certain amount of matter into energy. அதுக்கு பேர் நம்ம என்ன சொல்கிறோம்னா it is called as binding energy. இந்த binding energy தான் அந்த ப்ரோட்டான் நியூட்ரான் எல்லாத்தையும் எலக்ட்ரான் எல்லாத்தையும் ஹோல்டு பண்ணி நியூக்ளியஸ்குள்ளே வைக்குது. ஸோ mass defect is a measure of binding energy. So you have to be very clear with the point. Mass defect வந்து difference between the expected mass as well as the actual mass. So இந்த mass எங்கே போயிருதுன்னா it is given in the form of energy. It is used in the form of energy to bind the nucleons. சரியாம்மா? அந்த ப்ரோட்டான் நியூட்ரான் எலக்ட்ரான் எல்லாத்தையும் பைண்ட் பண்ணி வைக்கிறதுக்கு நியூக்ளியஸ்குள்ளால் பைண்ட் பண்ணி வைக்கிறதுக்கு நமக்கு கொஞ்சம் எனர்ஜி தேவைப்படும். அதுக்கு வந்து அந்த மாஸ் டிஃபெக்ட் வந்து நமக்கு யூஸ் ஆகுது. ஸோ இட் இஸ் கிவன் இன் த ஃபார்ம் ஆஃப் எனர்ஜி. அந்த எனர்ஜி யூஸ் பண்ணி எல்லாம் பவுண்ட் ஆகி இருக்குது. It's clear with the point, and that energy we call it as, so mass defect is said to be a measure of binding energy. So coming to the point, one atomic mass unit will be equal to 931 milli electron volt. You have to be very clear with the point. So one atomic mass unit, that's mass defect, will be equal to 931 milli electron volt of binding energy. It's clear with the point. So we can have a short recap of the thing what you have seen for today's class. So in nuclear stability I have spoken about mainly three things are there: N/P ratio, mass defect as well as binding energy. In short I'll say this N/P ratio. N/P ratio is nothing but number of protons divided by number of neutron ratio. Number of neutron divided by number of proton ratio is said to be N/P ratio. It should be equal to 1 if the nuclei is said to be stable. If it is above the value or below the value, it is said to be unstable and said to be radioactive. And second one, mass defect. It is a difference between the expected mass as well as the actual mass, and this mass defect is the energy, is a form of energy which is used to hold the nucleon within the nucleus, and this energy we call it as binding energy. Is it clear with the point? And elaborately we can see binding energy in the next class. Is it clear? So I think you're able to understand the class what I have taught you for today. Thank you for listening. Continue studying. Thank you, ma.